You guys will never vote a president in. Mothers have. You guys will never do anything of that nature.
but Brenda, who is we? Because clearly,
Who
hold
is
on,
we?
Brenda, be very clear. Because
Uh-huh.
white fathers, along with their white wives, vote every president in. So, so
Right, because you have not appealed to their fatherhood senses.
well, there is no. They have their own. Listen, listen.
Uh-huh.
I'm just being statistically wide because you're using an example that this is also goes into and this politics that you're kind of describing is yes,
Yes.
the reason why that women can vote in because black women will vote where they want to vote. They will vote however they want to vote. And so if they decide if the women's, but clearly women don't vote together because if they all voted together, Hillary Clinton would have been the president. So they voted for how they wanted to vote when they wanted to vote at a time. So here's a perfect example because obviously some people felt that Hillary Clinton wasn't for the best interest of all women.
Absolutely,
So that's
which
why.
is totally okay, but we still have a big voting block that people pay attention to. And fatherhood, because there's so many of you guys, there are tons of you. There are so many of you. You guys could change the things that you talk about on a weekly basis if all of you went under the guise of fatherhood would march together.
Yeah.
Then once you get there, break it down,
Yeah, only
if you
problem,
will.
Brenda. I hear you. I don't see that. Listen as fathers, and I say this because we have all fathers in my program. Every father is welcome, right? But very clearly, the 1% fathers would never join us because their problems is not our problems, and they are the ones who make the narrative of what fatherhood should be. And I think this is what becomes part of the problem is that how do I be a father like that person when I don't have an idea of how they father? Because they father a lot from patriarchy.
Correct.
Mm.
A lot of non 1% fathers mostly father from matriarchy. And
Mm.
that's just a clear because they didn't have the patriarchy to follow behind. So they don't have a like the father runs everybody in the house or has everything or this and that. Usually big mama is what who runs the house, and we follow within that pattern. And then you did have like even in the Thailand situation, you have dad and mother in the house, but that's completely different than some the Bushes in the parents. You know,
Absolutely. The
Mm.
differences are what we are here to celebrate. Everybody has a different look on fatherhood. Nobody's imprint on fatherhood is the same as the next. You might find two peas in a pod, like you and Thailand have found each other. You guys are a good replica of each other. You guys understand each other from sentence to sentence. But there's a whole lot of people out there who are tuning in, Thailand. We didn't just get here today. Okay, so when they see Daddies Matter too, wherever we are, when they hear that name, they expect to see all fatherhood, just like it's always been, not just Black fathers. I love Black fathers. My daddy was a Black father, but he was Cuban. So he was an import Black father, but I loved him. And he taught me things that being a strong woman without him, I would have never figured out. I would have been out there doing God knows what. And I almost became a victim because he is my stepfather and not my bio father. So he chose to raise me. He chose to bring me up. And I want the world to see that we moving as a fatherhood block will get you a whole lot farther than drilling down to the numbers of Black fatherhood. Black fatherhood is not the biggest number of fathers out there. They're the ones with the biggest problems. I agree with you there.
but
And you,
why do they have the biggest problems, Brenda?
why do
Because
they have the biggest
yes,
problems?
why there's a
I
reason.
know exactly why. Because there's no representation out there for them to see on screen, where it is accessible by Google, where everybody now goes for their information. No one just goes over to, let's say, GoPro Radio. No one goes over there just to see. They go to Google and they type in fatherhood, and little to nothing comes up. Type in motherhood, and it is a plethora of information. Black moms, white moms, independent moms, all the moms together, and they do it in a block. That's why they are able to move the pendulum. If you get moms mad at you, your whole business might go under, because people pander to mothers. So now I want them to pander to fathers, because Ron, your analytics are correct.
Here's the problem. Here's the problem, Brenda, with that idea. The fathers that you're going to want them to pander to, they believe that they are the patriarchy who is oppressing everybody. And if you don't make a clear definition, listen, I love her to death, Ava DuVernay. But one time
Okay.
she was having a conversation, and I almost wanted to come through the thing to say, please define who you're talking about, because she said, oh, she was talking about directors. She was talking about, in Hollywood there's no women director, and she was implying that there's plenty of men directors, but there's
Mm-hmm.
no women directors. And I said to myself, are you saying so when you say there are men directors, you're including all men? So you're saying that there's black men directors, when that is not true. That
That
the
is not
percentage
true.
the percentage would not be correct. But the narrative just said that there are men directors, including black men, including Asian men, including Hispanic men, including everybody else, when that is not the case. But you're lumping all the men together when the men are not created equal. They're
Right.
not being treated equal. So to
Right.
say, oh yeah, you men did this would be unfair to the men who are not created equal in this country, not created equal to
Right.
the power broker.
Like why?
Because
Okay.
wait,
So
and
the
Like
only reason,
why do we always participate in this conversation of diversity, inclusion, and as if by you having, let's say, more numbers, that it actually moves people who look like you, and you have a son that's a black young man going to be a man. Your interest ought to lie in looking at the kind of world that he is living in, has to deal with. So,
and
me
I will
hosting,
bat that back to you in.
hold on now, me hosting, right, this show and giving a perspective from, a black person, because I'm black. I'm born black. I die black, and that it is what it is, and I'm proud of that fact. And looking at the numbers, for example, of black men who are wrongfully convicted or over incarcerated, talk about how that plays into fatherhood, would be a disservice to the community, to your son, his son,
Oh,
and his son's son.
really?
Because we don't have
How,
a
oh, no, no, no,
conversation.
no, no, no,
Hold
no, no,
on,
no, no,
hold on,
no,
hold
no,
on.
no, no, no,
Because
no, no,
we
no.
don't have a conversation about some of the issues that uniquely affect us when we have the microphone. Too
And
often, when we have the
Tylon,
microphone, we include, to the detriment of our own kith and kin, other people who don't share the same time kind of challenges, and I would even say, moreover, represent some of the challenges that we are faced with.
I understand. And let me just move it backwards to you.